Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing an 80s horror movie, mostly horror, and this one is going to be Beetlejuice. Now, to be honest, I hadn't really heard anything about the movie before. Being at the theater recently, I saw a trailer for the sequel, and I was intrigued. It looks pretty interesting. I've heard great things about it. And so I had to find a copy of the first one to check it out. Found a great price for this copy. Standard Blu-ray. It is in 4K now, but I have the standard Blu-ray copy. And we're going to dive into what this movie's really all about. So we have Barbara and Adam are the starting characters. They're a happy young couple. And basically, how it starts off is that this new house, everything's going perfect for them. But they end up swerving while driving. Their car ends up going off a bridge, and not long later, they find out they actually died during that crash. They don't realize it at first, and when they do realize they are in fact dead, the mystery continues where they can see people around them, the living, people moving into their house. Now you have the Dietz family. So you have this new family that is moving in, and Barbara and Adam realize they are ghosts. And while they're not really sure if they want to welcome these new people into their home, they ultimately decide they need to kick them out. They scare them off. And that's the main generic plot for this movie, which in itself, something simple, something interesting, and leaves way for great acting performances, such as from Winona Ryder, and of course, Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice. So he basically specializes in scaring people off. And his role in this movie, or should I say screen time exactly, isn't significant. He doesn't have a large screen time in this movie, but his role is important. He's essentially the main, I guess, villain, if you will, for this movie. And there's a lot of comedy involved. In the mind of Tim Burton with this movie, there's a lot of lore thrown at you with the dead and how they reach out for help and know what to do about the people that have moved into their house. But the thing is, there's a lot of lore, but there's not a lot of rules set in place. So it's kind of just the silly, wacky goofiness going around. They are dead, but there's no rules for why are they only tied to their house, why they can't leave their house. There's no rules with the world of the dead, why they can't go explore other places. There's just not a lot of facts or details sort of building the lore for it. There just is a lore for it. But it's simple enough, wacky enough, where it's just simply entertaining, makes for a great movie, and there are horror elements, but there's a lot of comedic moments as well. And this movie, the plot ends up pushing toward its climax, being where everything ends up going wrong for nearly every character. Beetlejuice, his name has to be said 3 times for him to be alive, well, so to speak, to be set free. And then when his name is said 3 times again, he's basically shut down again. Since he's still around, he's not really being dead or alive back and forth. So these are the details of the rules that they don't really specify, but it's accepted because it's a comedic movie. And so the climax of this movie is ghosts are being discovered by the Dietz family. These 2 ghosts have taken a liking to Lydia, who actually enjoys these ghosts' company, but her parents do not. And they also want to capitalize on finding ghosts, making money, and being famous. And so the plot of driving them out comes to a head because they want Lydia to be able to stay in the house, but not the parents, but they're a package jokes, they're family. And so the family ends up nearly driving Barbara and Adam to death. When they summon them, there's another plot device that they're dying when they can be seen again. So as they're dying, Lydia brings Beetlejuice into the fray to ward them off once and for all, while she has to make a deal to marry him. Now, this obviously doesn't ultimately end up happening, as that is the final climax, as I'm going to call it the climax part 2, where they eventually stop it from happening. But as he's warding off these people, trying to scare them off, Barbara and Glenn are in fact back, but now they're trying to stop the wedding that Beetlejuice is kind of trying to have rushed from happening. And so ultimately, the wedding is stopped. Beetlejuice is cast aside again. And the happy ending is that Barbara and Adam just let this family stay here. The family's presumably not telling the press. They're not going to become famous. They're not making money off of it. It's sort of this happy ending for all of the characters involved. So the fact that there was an announcement for a new movie and a trailer now for its sequel, I was intrigued why they would revisit this movie. But it does look interesting. Looks like they got a great cast for it. And I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm optimistic. I don't know if it's going to be some great sequel. There's definitely potential for it to be. So I'm just going to wait and see, find out what happens with it. I like the first movie. It's not one of my favorites, but I liked it. So now I'm intrigued for the next. Thank you guys for watching. If Beetlejuice is one of your favorite movies, let me know in the comments. Let me know why. I want to hear more of your thoughts. Thanks for sticking with me for this video. Keep it digging.